All right. This is my first time ever going live. I don't know how this is going to look. Uh, We're just going to check it out. So, I'm grabbing a drink real quick. This is a dumb way to start going live, but I've never done this before, so I'm winging it. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I just filmed a video about the capacity of my 90-liter fridge freezer, National Luna 90-liter fridge freezer. And now I just figured I'd go live and talk about this portable power bank that I'm building here. So, I don't know if this is ever going to flash on that there's actually anybody watching. I guess it doesn't really matter. Should I get this closer? Can I get it closer? Sure. Winging it. Can you see that camera? Nobody's watching anyway, so it will not matter. All right, let's do this for a few minutes. So a little backstory. I was super interested in building out a portable power bank and like doing a comparison video between buying and building a portable power bank and seeing if you might be able to get more bang for your buck for building one out. This was back in 2022. And then we had, it was like April 2022. And a couple months later, we had our second kid. And I took a hiatus for 2 years from really doing much filming whatsoever, focused on the family. But all this equipment has just been sitting up on my shelf pretty much for the past 2.5, 3 years. And it's about time to put it to use. I want to put it to use actually in my daily driver as well as utilize it wherever I need to put a portable power bank or utilize a portable power bank. But I have all the stuff here. I figured why not build it out, even if some of the stuff is slightly outdated. I don't know. There might be stuff out there that's just more upgraded or has different, you know, whatever it is, different perks and capacities or whatever it might be for like what the market has built out over that amount of time. But anyway, so I'm just going to run through in this video really quick the overall idea here and concept. I got a good deal on this SOK 100 amp hour lithium ion battery. I actually got two of them. And this was, again, multiple years ago, so they're way cheaper now. And you can get them with like interior warming pads to keep the temperature correct for charging these things successfully and not damaging them when it's cold out, because lithium ion does not like to damage, or lithium ion does not like to charge below a certain temperature out. So that's kind of a cool thing if you go that direction. But anyway, I have two of these, and then I have this Battleborn 100 amp hour in the Tundra. The Tundra, I feel like, could benefit from having a little bit more capacity. So I actually took out this battery, and I'm going to wire in the two SOKs that I have into the Tundra system to give it a 100 amp hour or 200 amp hour capacity, and then utilize this Battleborn battery in my power bank, at least for the time being, for the main the main unit powering everything in this. Um, and I don't know if this is gonna be built into this box forever. Like, I'm reserving the right to be able to tear this apart and put it in something else down the road. I might do that depending on the plans for the Sequoia. Or maybe I'll just utilize this in the Sequoia as a portable power bank. I just don't know. Anyway, I'm going to slide this SOK out of the way because I'm not using it for this. On the table here, we'll just talk about what I have going on. And the reason it's so chaotic is because I wanted to make sure. I always want to make sure I'm testing like my thought process on how I'm wiring things up prior to spending the time wiring it up. So I'm pretty sure I'm not going to burn down my house here. It's been plugged in off and on for a couple of days now, so pretty sure I'm not going to burn down my house. But it does look crazy, and hopefully it starts to come together a little bit faster here now that I've kind of figured out how I'm going to wire everything up. But basically, I have my 100 amp hour battery. It's going to be fed by a 20 amp DC to DC Renogy charge controller, running from the front starting battery of the CRV, or the vehicle I put it in, through an Anderson plug in the side of the box I'm building it into the DC charger, feeding through the negative shunt right here to monitor all the loads coming in and coming out. Bluetooth capably monitor all those loads coming in and coming out, and then charging the battery. That's going to be the primary way I plan on charging this system. Secondarily, if I'm ever at shore power, I'm home or whatever it is, probably intermediately between like over the weekends and that kind of stuff, when my battery might be dying a little bit, being drawn down a little bit more, I'm going to be plugging it in using this 120 volt 5 amp just lithium ion, pretty cheap, honestly, pretty cheap charger that'll be inside the system as well. So it'll be able to be charged off of AC power and DC power. From there, I also want it to be able to accept a solar panel of some sort. So I've got this Renogy solar panel controller, and I actually have a what do you want to call it? One of those like modular, carry around wherever you go solar panels that you can set up, and I'll be able to pigtail into the side of this. So basically, this is going to have three different inputs of power capable of coming into it: the 120 volt standard plug, the 20 amp DC to DC Anderson plug, and then a little pigtail plug for the solar charger. It's all going to run, everything in this system is going to run through, all the negatives are going to run through this Victron Bluetooth compatible shunt, basically, so that you can monitor all of the loads coming into it and monitor all the loads discharging away from the battery. Everything has to run through it negatively to be able to monitor that properly. What this thing is going to be powering is going to be, well, I'm going to run off of, we can hook it up right now. Okay. Right now everything's hooked up, everything's running. Oh, that fired up. That's funny. Oh, that did fire up the other day. Okay, so right now everything is, actively putting out power. So I'm going to have everything going through two buses, basically, a positive and a negative bus, and then being distributed out where it needs to all the stuff that's going to be utilizing that power. I am primarily building this to charge with DC. I want to be 12 volt as much as possible. My fridges are 12 volt. My battery chargers are 12 volt. All of my electronics can run on 12 volt, right? So 12 is just way more efficient, and my plan is to run everything off 12 volt if I can, as much as I can. But in the need of needing a standard outlet, I am going to run this pretty cheap but best tech 500 watt pure sine wave inverter as an option for 120 volt power, and that'll be going through the side of this DeWalt. I don't even know if they make these anymore, but this is a DeWalt T stack. It's kind of like the poor man's version of the Milwaukee pack, whatever they're called, pack outs. Yeah, that's what they are. This DeWalt T stack, and it'll have all sorts of stuff coming out the side of it and everything. But yeah, that will go through a NOCO style plug, although it's an off-brand, with a single 120 out here, and then I might throw another one up out the top. From there, everything's going to be properly circuit protected in and out of the thing, and these are just basically an actual physical circuit you can break, which I wanted to have to keep it safe and keep it controlled when I'm not utilizing it. Different other kind of on and off switch circuits that I'm going to be utilizing. I want to be able to have hard circuit, or I want to be able to have hard shutoffs to some things, accessible from the outside or very easily accessible from the inside. My 12 volt, my 120 volt inverter here, I'm going to have a shutoff, a hard shutoff on and off with this guy. Oh, is that on? Oh, here, let me, where's the on button? There it is. All right. So the thing about inverters is they just have a constant load to them, and I want to be able to kill that constant load without having to open up and physically turn on and off the switch to the inverter on the inside of this box. So it's currently on right there. I'm going to have this mounted to the outside in a location that makes sense so that I can kill it where I need to and get it on and turn it on when I need to. So that's one of the outputs that are going to be going from the buses, you know, able to be feeding power. And from there, I'll also have obviously just a little Blue Sea style fuse panel to feed things like battery monitoring, quick at a glance like voltmeters. That's that guy. We're running 13.2 amps right now, or volts actually. USB chargers, car chargers, socket style chargers, USB chargers, and that's pretty much it as far as what's going to be, popping out the side of this. I'm going to have 3 or 4 of those, so a ton of DC potential to be plugged into it, DC power to be pulled from it. And then on the inside, I'm also going to cut in, just because there's going to be a decent amount of heat in this thing. I envision it having a decent amount of heat in the thing. I came up with this to do a couple of these computer style fans here, and then a temperature switch that I'll be mounting in there so that whatever temperature I set it at a certain point, these fans will kick on and kick off to keep everything cooled down. Because, I mean, your inverter is going to be accumulating a decent amount of heat in there. Everything, these 3 things, everything's going to be accumulating some heat. So at like 29 degrees Celsius, I want to say right now, this is going to turn on. And you can set it for whatever you want to. And I'll have these kind of pulling and pushing air in a, in a way through the actual case itself. And this should turn on any second here, assuming I'm not frozen. I'm just going to let it turn on when it turns on. So that is pretty much where I'm at with it. That SOK battery is actually, I've pulled this stuff out and played with it for, trying to figure out orientation of how I'm going to put everything throughout the past couple of years. And every time I'm left scratching my head, like some of the things are just too big to where it's like, it's going to be really, really tight. But now, switching over to the Battleborn, everything actually kind of starts fitting in there better with a little bit less tight of a tolerance and a little bit more availability and capacity to be able to like monitor and work on things and change things as you go without having to like really dive in and disassemble the system to get to things. So that'll be good. This should turn on, man. Come on. Am I frozen solid? Ah, it's funny. I see one or two people clicking in here and there. I have no idea how this live stuff really works on a phone. Hey, somebody's in there right now. Oh, there they go. Yeah. So those both kick on, and then they'll cool off and kick off in about 5 degrees Celsius. So that's pretty great. Um, yeah, so made sure that everything works theoretically. It's just starting to put it in the box. And I guess I'll talk about the box really quick tonight a little bit. I'm going to do it at the same time as loading up this Battleborn in there. So let's disconnect the Battleborn. Create a little bit of space on this counter. And yeah, so this guy, like I said, I don't know if this thing is still available in the market, but it's kind of a cool box. It's fairly stout. It's not like weak by any means. But what I liked about it, I mean, it had one of those like little tool trays on the inside of it that I took out. It's floating around my garage somewhere right now. But hold on, I gotta hit my other camera on. All right, yeah. So, I mean, good quality clasps and all that kind of stuff on it. I'm actually going to end up shaving some of this reinforcement ribbing off so that I can fit the panels that I'm going to put in there to attach everything with. Haven't decided. I'm thinking I'm going to go with these acrylic sheets for it, but it might make more sense, ease of use, to just use a piece of 1/8" plywood as well. Haven't really decided on that 100%. But anyway, yeah, doing anything like this, it's really, I don't know what I just dropped. Oh, probably a washer. It's really just kind of playing around with the orientation of where everything makes sense and where it's going to go. And the Battleborn, a little thinner than the SOK, a little taller, just kind of fits everything a little bit better in my mind. So I'm going to shave and clearance all of this. This is all just not really needed. It might add a little bit of structural rigidity to things up here, but it's going to go away. I'm going to cut some of this plastic out, and I'm going to put in something like this, just a mounting plate on the inside of there so that I can mount things to it cleanly. I've decided that most of the charging componentry, so the DC-DC charger, the inverter, and the inverter's not a charger, but the AC charger and the Renogy guy are going to go down below here, and then everything else is going to be wired up here and then loomed safely and securely, and it should work out pretty well. Anyway, one thing I thought that was really cool about this is that it has this little storage bin up here. And I'm going to use this to pass through some power from underneath for some things that I want to have charging, but also be a little bit protected from the elements, or at least contained from like flying out and flying all around. A 12-volt AAA and AA battery charger. I'm going to cut this out and mount that in there for, flashlights and headlamps and all that I have. So that'll be permanently mounted in here. I have cameras that I bring with me, on my trips, or that I utilize quite a bit, that take the little Canon, battery pack. So I'm going to have some of those permanently mounted in here. I thought if I do end up keeping some of these little container bins or whatever, That'll be a great place to put, additional cords or fill in the blank, right? Just electronic stuff. So I thought this was kind of cool that it had this because this will pretty much be accessible wherever I'm going to end up mounting this system in the Honda or in the Sequoia if I decide to utilize it in that system. Anyway, all my power is going to come through right here. So all the inlet power is going to come through right here. My fans are going to be mounted here and here. So here, same place on either end. And then my outlet, USB, and other stuff is going to just kind of run on 2 rows up either side of this rib here. Should work out pretty well. Should work out pretty well. It's going to be tight. But I'm excited about it. And I'm going to start taking this stuff out. I'm trying not to lose things. And I don't know who would actually be watching this at 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning. I'm not planning on doing this for too much longer tonight. I just figured why not live stream something and see how that goes. So anyway, I don't know anything about Renogy. I think they'll work out fine for this application. I hope they do, or their products do. I've been trying to download their app for the past couple of days, or rather signed into their app for the past couple of days just to test out the Bluetooth capacity of this solar charger, and I have not been able to, so I don't know if that's user error or there's something wrong going on, but we'll see. I've heard mixed reviews of some of the Renogy stuff. So Renogy, if you're out there, maybe you could let me know how you're supposed to actually get the authorization email for logging onto your app. Because I haven't had the time to call you and figure it out yet. This YouTube live thing is so funny because I don't see who's actually on here, but I just see random one person, somebody keeps popping in. I don't know if it's different people or the same people. I'm assuming when you do YouTube live or when you go live on your computer, you have more analytics, but when you're on your phone here, you got like no real indication of what it all is, but I'll figure that out going on. Anyway, this guy is going to get mounted. Input is going to go to the bottom. Pretty much. I don't remember exactly how I was going to do this. All this stuff has to be disconnected. Alright, so I'm going to put this to bed for tonight. This is really it that I'm going to show, but, that's the first start of it. And then the rest of it is going to come when I have a little bit more time, because it's 1:30 and I'm tired and I'm going to go to bed for the night. So, cool. First YouTube live. Great. Yeah. Froze for a second there. Have a good night. How do you get off of the YouTube live? I'm assuming X.